Fede Alvarez, like many other directors, have proven it is their talent, not the budget, that makes for a really good film. And this movie is a true horror movie. It's fun, it's entertaining. It does commit the sin of resurrecting someone that has passed. However, it was with the blessing of the family, and we are here. Hello, everyone. My name is Max Aaron James. This video is a review of the movie Alien Romulus, written by Rodo Sayagis, Dan O'Bannon, Fede Alvarez, and directed by Fede Alvarez. This film takes place after the 1979 Alien movie, before Aliens from James Cameron, which is considered the best one to many people. Some people still argue that the first one is the better one. This movie is about a few scavengers that work at a mining planet, and they find an abandoned spaceship. So they decide to explore, take some things, and they come across the infamous monster that is a xenomorph. I feel when it comes to reboots, requels, remakes, it does not help the viewer to compare the movie to the previous ones or previous films in a franchise, although it's easier said than done because you're still wanting this to be as good as the rest of the franchise. In this movie, fortunately, it's damn good. Considering both the Blade Runner and Alien franchise, this may be my favorite universe explored in a variety or plethora of movies and even series. Now, Fede Alvarez always has nice set pieces, and he has shown in Evil Dead and in Don't Breathe that he can work very well in single locations. And he's shown with Evil Dead and this movie that he works very well with already established franchises, already set toys and lore and stories without really trying to reinvent the wheel or try to add something that is too different or build on the lore to where it tries to become its own thing. Even though this movie and Evil Dead can be standalone movies outside of having to watch the previous film. Alvarez does well at implementing his own signature and style, and takes into consideration what he can do with these already built toys and ideas without messing it up, and also add in his own flavor and his own thing, because some of the stuff here is not new as far as what we know or understand about the Alien franchise, but the way he approaches it or presents it to us is pretty innovative. Facehuggers chasing you, for instance. We have a dozen facehuggers chasing our characters. I don't remember ever having that in a movie. Maybe the facehuggers, there may be a few going after people and whatnot, but here we have dozens chasing them, and we have a couple scenes of that. And considering Alvarez is the one directing this movie, it makes sense why this movie, in my opinion, is the scariest Alien movie. Now we have David Johnson here playing our android in this movie named Andy. For those who do not know, David Johnson was in the really good rom-com Rye Lane, and he stars in the show Industry, playing on Max. David Johnson is great. His performance is great. The way he plays his character is exceptional. And I think it's really good how O'Bannon and Sayagis wrote this character, because it doesn't beat to the ground the idea of what defines a human, more so what defines you and who are you based on the people you surround yourself with and how you treat other people. Kaylee Spaney also plays a really good character who's pretty much our main lead. I would say Andy is also a lead, but we have Kaylee Spaney who really delivers it as, the final girl. Her character's chemistry, who I believe is named Rain, and Andy's chemistry, I really liked. I like their dynamic. I like the chemistry between the two actors. And everyone else, they're fine. There are a few great setups. There are a few pieces put into play early into the movie that end up leading to something else. And you kind of figure it will lead to something else, but you're not sure how we will get there. And what ends up coming from what we expected ends up being not what we really expected to feel when it actually happens. And this movie already has a few scary moments. Again, this is a horror movie, and it has those jump scares or moments that were well earned that feel frightening and terrifying. And if you were not convinced that it was a horror movie, the final 15 minutes made sure that you felt it. It was an intense, horrifying moment. I was terrified, uncomfortable, pleased, entertained, and also confused and unsure of how to feel all at once. Now, xenomorphs in this movie they look cool, as they do most times. They're well made. I think they used a lot of animatronics. They do have some CGI here that when it is shown, it does stand out. But when they do use animatronics and they just work on practical effects, it looks great. I really appreciate that they used a simple or basic set design. They didn't rely on green screen. and most of the stuff that they used was practical. And it's when they use the deep fakes or CGI that really stands out, especially in a room of practical and actual stuff that's there. The shots look nice. I like the set design. Overall, the story is pretty simple and it just keeps on moving. It doesn't slow down for the most part. I feel like we really got back to what made the Alien franchise great, with the first Alien movie not really having anything to really compare it to, or it's not following up from anything. And then Aliens with James Cameron, who was really just trying to make another Alien movie and not really thinking, it didn't seem that he was focused too much on building the lore as opposed to just telling another good story. Here we have, with our three writers and Alvarez directing, something that can stand alone. It does not damage or retcon anything prior to it, and is still able to build another or deliver another story to us. I also want to mention that this movie was made for under $80 million. Of course, it's not taken into consideration distribution and marketing for what they have to make before making a profit, but $80 million just to make the film is a pretty big deal. You have movies over $100 million, particularly superhero movies or other big monster films, that don't end up meeting the quality that this meets, although sometimes they end up making a lot of money just because of the marketing and how colorful it looks. But we're talking about when it comes to good filmmaking, this shows that you don't need that. Until next time, y'all take care of each other, check up on one another, make sure you check up on yourself, and remember, potential has no limits.